title of this video. My client committed fraud. Story time, okay? Hey YouTube, it's Alexia. How are y'all doing? So let's just go ahead and get straight into it. As you can tell by the lovely title of this video, I'm going to do a real estate story time. I've never done one of these before, but I've shamefully and literally been attempting to edit this vlog probably since November, and it was just so much stuff happening, and like I literally probably have like 5 hours of footage from this one person's transaction, and I just could not figure out a way to narrow it down to where it wasn't like a 3-hour vlog. So I said, you know what? I'm just gonna do a story time. Let me bring y'all in a little closer here. Yeah, I think that's better. I'm just gonna do a story time and tell y'all what happened. And I'll throw in clips here and there that relate to the portion of the story that I'm telling. So sit back, relax. No, sorry, this isn't aviation. No, but for real. Yeah, let's get into it. So once upon a time, back in June of 2022, client was a referral from a past client. You know, normally that's how referrals work. I don't remember if she scheduled a consultation or not, if I just reached out, whatever the case may be. But it was literally, I think it was on my birthday, or right around like my birthday week, early June of 2022. I'm not going to talk too much about this portion of it, but I will just start off to say, during our first phone call, the buyer's consultation that I have with all my clients to, one, set the expectation, two, find out what they are wanting or needing my assistance with as far as real estate, and then two, setting the expectation, and just going through, you know, the process of how I work. So she came to me saying she was new to Houston. She'd been here, I think, just right about a year, or it was going on to a year. She going into her second year, something like that. She moved here, she'd been renting, and she's ready to purchase a home. She was previously a homeowner before. She had been through the home buying process once before, but this was like a long time ago, like early 2000s, which is really a long time ago now, y'all. It's 2023 now, y'all. Can y'all believe that? 2023. So yeah, anyways, y'all know this story time is going to be long because I get sidetracked. But she emphasized, I'm bringing that up to say, she emphasized that when she bought her home back then, it didn't require a lot of her own funds to purchase the home. You know, she had got some type of down payment assistance then, and blase, 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 blase. So I took that all in, and I told her, I said, well, you know, that is great. We are not necessarily in a market where you can walk into a home paying minimal to $0 to get into your home. That's just not where we're at. But I can get you connected with some great lenders to get you down payment assistance and see how much you qualify for, and so on and so on and so on. But I definitely set the expectation that, you know, bare minimum, if she's not trying to buy a whole bunch of house, you know, she would at least have to come out of pocket, you know, $5,000 to $7,000 for her down payment, if we can get, you know, closing costs and all those things covered. And those are just really just like rough numbers that I throw out there just based on the financial things that she was telling me and how much I could literally guesstimate we would be, you know, what price point she would be in. So, got her connected with the lovely lender that I've been using since I entered the real estate game, Princess. She is like, she's amazing, y'all. She closes deals, honey, okay? And she works with people from bare minimum credit score to top notch, people that don't have no money to got it all. She does it all, and I've seen her work miracles. So I kind of felt like this was a client that was going to need a miracle. So from that first conversation to maybe about even a month later is when Princess was finally able to get her, and actually she was working with 2 lenders. She shopped 2 different lenders that I had told her about, because I give everybody I usually send everybody about 3 or so lenders to kind of get a feel for them to talk to them and, you know, kind of create a relationship with them like they've created a relationship with me, and then they choose. You know, it's not my job to tell you which lender to use. But I do have a plethora of lenders that I work with, and then just based off of the conversations that I have with you, I will refer you to the 3 that I think will best meet your needs. So that's what we did. So she was working with one. After a while, she said she didn't really care for his communication style, so she stuck with Princess. Fine, y'all. So it literally took both lenders, about a month to get her pre-qualified, because her job history was so all over the place. That's the best word that I can come up with. It was just all over the place. She had a job here for 2 months, here, over there for a couple of months. So anyways, and when you were getting pre-approved, you have to be able to provide proof of these jobs. So whether that's going to be, you know, W-2s, 1099s, or whatever kind of job it was, paycheck stubs, or calling these jobs to verify that you were an employee at this said time that you said you were. That took both lenders weeks to get her job history down, for them to patch it together and say, okay, you know, we can make this job history work for you to qualify for a loan, right? Right. So traditionally, the standard job history that mortgage lenders look for is like a minimum of 2 years of employment, and they prefer for you to have been at the same job for that period of time, or at least within the same career field or whatever. Now, does that always happen? Absolutely not. People be changing jobs like they change drawers now. Oops, sorry, y'all. People change jobs all the time. So that was her situation. So they finally got it together, and they were able to get her pre-approved. I think it was like right about, it was a wide span of a number between like 175 to 225, depending on variables, which I talked to y'all about this in vlogs before. Depending on variables. What are these variables? We're here in Texas, right? Where property taxes are high, because we do not pay state income tax here. So I don't think when people move here, unless you've done your research, you know, people are sometimes surprised by the amount of our property taxes. So property taxes on the property that you are interested in purchasing, how will that affect your purchase amount? HOA, how will that affect your purchase amount? Interest rates, you know, just all the things. Insurance on the home that you'll have to carry, all the things. All those things will have to be calculated into what the end-all and be-all mortgage will be, and based on those variables and the principal and interest, then the lender says, yes, you can afford this, or no, you can't. So I knew I was going to get sidetracked, but y'all just going to take this video for what it is. Principal, interest, taxes, HOA, right? Those are what make up your full mortgage amount. So this is what I was saying. A lot of people want to go into it thinking, oh yeah, I want to buy a home for about $330,000. But that $330,000, depending on the specifics of that specific home could be a mortgage. These numbers won't make any sense, but we're just gonna play with, I'm just gonna say something. So that home could easily be either $2,000 a month or $2,500 a month. Like, you just never know because of the variables. That's why lenders will give you an up to purchase amount just depending on your financial situation. And specifically with her, because things were just so shaky, and we were also using down payment assistance, which then increases the interest rate that you're going to have. She had a pretty wide range of what she could afford, but still on the lower level, between $175,000 to $225,000. Like, whoo, child. And she did not want her mortgage. She personally did not want to pay more than, I believe she said, $1,400 a month. So $1,400 is what she wants her max mortgage to be: principal, interest, insurance, and taxes, right? Well, principal, interest, taxes, insurance, PITI, is the abbreviation that we use. So let's just fast forward a bit, right? We searched high and low through Houston, Texas, and our surrounding suburbs. So initially she was like, I kind of just want like a townhome, 3 beds, 2.5 bath, something simple. And we were finding them, but what was coming with these townhomes were high HOA costs. And when I say high, probably like an additional 3 to even, one was like 900. But majority of them were like an additional $300 to $400 a month that covered HOA fees. So on townhomes, I got an eyelashes just eyelashing. On townhomes, that will sometimes cover insurance, maybe some utilities, maintenance costs, just things like that. So they definitely range, but it is not optional. Whatever that HOA charges, that's it. So we were finding townhomes in the price point that she was pre-approved for, and even less. A lot of them were like less than $200,000, but with just taxes and interest rate, that was already putting her mortgage right at where she wanted to be. And then you tax on that additional HOA fee, that puts her above where she wants to be, closer to $1,750, $1,800 a month. She didn't want to do that. She could technically, on the lending side, they would have allowed her to go up that much on some of them, not even all of them. But she personally didn't want to go that much. So we went for like weeks of running into that same issue because she was stuck on the thought of the townhome communities and things like that. So finally I broke her loose and I was like, okay, like we need to start looking at single family homes that do not have those astronomical HOA fees. Single family homes where you only pay a yearly HOA, which is just a couple of $100 a year. So you're not taxing on this additional bill onto your mortgage. That's how you choose to look at it, whichever way, right? So finally got her into doing that. Now we found one home, and then let me just say, rewind. We did go under contract on one of the townhomes, but it did not work out initially, right? Because of those HOA fees. And then actually we went under contract on another one where the math was mathing finally. The numbers were adding up. But then, long story short, it ended up being in a flood zone that was marked incorrectly. And she didn't want to do that because then, flood insurance is more money. So we ended up backing out of that property. So that's like our second contract, I think. And I'm honestly not even I couldn't even tell you how many contracts I wrote for this customer client of mine. I couldn't even tell you how many contracts I wrote for well, she went from being a customer to a client, because once you signed the agreement for me to be your realtor, that's when you level up to my client and no longer a customer. So for that client, I don't even know, but it was a lot. So after we kind of got over the whole townhome thing, condo, townhome, whatever you want to call it, we went into the single family. And I mean, it took me a lot to get her to want to look at, you know, just single family homes. And this is maybe now into mid-July, early August. Her lease was ending, and her lease was ending the end of September. The end of September is when her lease was ending. So we were cutting shorter and shorter into months of being able to find a property, and I was constantly reminding her this. So every house we would go look at, we would literally send to the princess, the lender, to say, hey, can you give us a buyer's estimate before we even go into writing up a contract or whatever. So like, even on that end of things, it was a lot of work on the lender's end, because she was constantly doing buyer's estimate on pretty much every address, you know, she was interested in, because it got to the point where I was just like, hey, I'm not going to keep showing you these homes if once we get numbers back, you're going to say, no, you don't want to do it. You know, like, so we need to know this in advance, which puts a lot of work on the lender, but it also puts a lot of work on me. So we kind of had to balance it out. You know, which homes are we going to be actually looking at, and which ones won't we be looking at? And then sometimes she would just even send me homes, and I would be like, you know, nope, we're not going to go look at it, because just based off of these variables, you're not going to want to afford that. So it was months of that. Went under contract on a nice single family home. Oh God, it was such a nice home. But then the inspection report came back, and the inspection report was trash, y'all. Trash. And this one was a little frustrating, that deal, well, what was potentially going to be a deal, because the agent on the other end she was not, you know, openly communicating with what was going on with the house, and we had to try to see it before, and we put it in the back, you know, all kind of things. But once we actually, hold on, y'all. So this is a patio style home. I'll show y'all the outside when I go back out. But you have your living space, another form of living space here. There's a half bath down. They have a cocktail bar, butler's bar, which is cute. Storage closet. The kitchen, I mean, is obviously a little outdated, but the layout itself is nice. Good cabinets and stuff, it just needs a facelift. So some painting of the cabinetry would be nice. But nice solid wood. My client did tell me she didn't like this from the pictures, but you know. Your stove top, old school oven, newer microwave though. And then back here is your laundry room with some storage, and your garage. We tried to come see this house last week, but there was a hiccup with the scheduling, and the owner was here, so it's still on the market. So we came back today, and I think this is one of the nicest ones that I've seen. So I'll just pop outside just so y'all can see. So it has like this nice courtyard action. This is the outside of the house, so you can sit out here and really enjoy. And it's just right off the street here. Well, it's not bad. Still waiting for her to show up. She should be pulling up any minute now. Let's go upstairs. So we make our way up the stairs. When I first got up here, this door was closed and I could hear the TV blasting, so I thought somebody was in here. So I was like knocking, but they just left the TV on. Nice size closet. Room is big. Separate tub and shower. No water closet, but double vanities. And then we have 2 more bedrooms, which is just her, but her son lives with her during the summer. He's in college, though. He's out of state in college, but he'll still need a room. So there's this bedroom, and she needs an office because she works from home. And then there's this bedroom, which will probably be her son's bedroom. So here's the bathroom. It has a nice size walk-in closet as well. And then this is cool. You have the tub, and then you have another door, which is like another half bath. So I guess this could be a guest toilet and sink instead of actually having to access in there. So we'll see what she thinks when she gets here. She should be walking through the door any minute now. Maybe we didn't even do an I think we did do, no, we did do we didn't do an inspection. She had sent me the previous inspection report is what had happened, because they had went under contract, but see, they had went under contract before, and I had been emailing her, asking her to send me that so we could take a look, and it took her days to send it to me. And then when she finally did send it to me, the inspection report was trash. The last house I went to yesterday, I got the realtor to send me the previous inspection report because the home had been under contract, and there was an inspection done on it. So they do have to disclose that information. So she finally, after 12 hours of no response, she emails me back this morning and says, I can send you the report, but we're currently already working on accepting an offer. Well, sis, you've kind of dropped the ball. I don't even know if I mentioned, but I think I did. But last week, we had went to try to see this property. The house is still occupied. She confirmed the appointment, but never told her client, the seller. So when we went, they were still at the home. So we had to reschedule, and due to my client's work schedule, she couldn't go back until yesterday. So we could have been had an offer submitted if we were able to see the home when we had scheduled it. And then I had asked her for this report when I had spoke to her last week, and she never sent it. So she responded this morning, I can send it, but we're working on an offer. How soon can you have an offer over? How soon can you send me the report? Like, come on now. So I gave my client, professional advice and was like, hey, you're not in a situation. And they also were selling the house as is, right? Like, I'm not gonna do that. They were selling the house as is, meaning, take it as it is. They're not willing to do any repairs or give any money towards anything. The property needed a whole new roof and a whole bunch of other stuff. So professionally, I advised her, to not move forward on that property. So fast forward a couple of houses, putting in offers, getting beat out, because although at this time, this is fall, August-ish of 2022, the market has really slowed down. It's not nearly as competitive, but at the price point that we're shopping in, which I had also finally got her to the mindset that you cannot afford the homes that are above basically $200,000, because every time we run these numbers, you are getting really scared and nervous of the quotes that are coming back. The estimate, the buyer's estimated closing costs plus what your monthly mortgage will be, which every lender that you're pretty much going to talk to when they give you these quotes are going to err on the high side of things, just to be safe, because there's some numbers that you just cannot have and will not have until like the final last few days of closing. So some things have to be estimated. So we always prefer to estimate on the high side of things rather than going low and you thinking your payment is going to be this and then it ends up being more. We rather say it's going to be this and then you end up paying less, right? Now I have to get back in the mental space to find a home, right? This is the lady that I was speaking of that, you know, we found a property, we ended up terminating, and I just needed like a day just to, because it's been a long process with her. So I sent her some lease options because at this point we are like getting to the 30-day or less time period for her to be moving out of her current space. So if we can't find a home for her to purchase that, you know, is within her budget and the things that she likes, we are going to have to find her a lease property, which is definitely not the route that I want to go. One, because she came to me to purchase a home. So the goal is always to get you what you want. You know, like I want to find you a home, but I can't force you to like anything or want to pay more for what's out there on the market. So that's just kind of what we're dealing with. So I said, hey, you know what? I actually want to talk to Christine, our sales director at my brokerage, just to kind of like talk things through. Maybe there isn't something that I'm seeing, or what else can I do in this situation. And really, we were both just, you know, she asked me every single thing. Did you try this, and I'm like, yes, everything. I've ticked every box. So at this point, I'm just like, well, I can't leave you homeless. And you know, she did not renew her lease, so we will have to find something. And then also, you know, just to be super transparent, like when you put in all this work, especially, you know, we've been looking at properties for, I can't see what that email says. We've been looking at properties for a month, I would say. Yeah, we've been looking at properties for about a month. That's my time and energy, and I know what I signed up for as a realtor. You know, sometimes you put in a lot of work until you get to that closing day and collect your check. So with the lease property, you normally don't put in that amount of work. So I'm saying that to say that it really won't equal out. You know, like the amount of work that I've put in with her, and if we end up leasing, at this point, it really will not balance out. But that's just something that I'll just have to deal with. I need to be going that way. I'm in the wrong lane. But the goal is just to find her property, and that's what I'm gonna do. So yeah. So anyways, finally got her into the mindset of, hey, we really need to stick to below 200,000 single family homes that do not have crazy HOAs. Still searching high and low for 3 bedrooms, getting beat out on everything. So we ended up going back to a community that she had liked, which was actually one of the townhome communities. Yeah, we ended up going back to one of the townhome communities that she had liked. And it was a community where the HOA wasn't that much, and the property that we were looking at was way overpriced. We had tried to put in the offer, and the listing they had, I don't know the numbers. So we had went back to look at this house for whatever reason, and then there was another one in the same townhome community right next door that it was listed on our multiple listing service as a 1-bedroom. So we had been back 2 or 3 times, and we had just kept passing it up because she didn't want a 1-bedroom. So finally, I was like, let's just go in here and look at this property. We go in there, and it actually happened to be a 2-bedroom, but it wasn't listed as a 2-bedroom because the second room does not have a window or a closet. Well, actually, it had a closet, but it didn't have any windows. So technically, you can't list a bedroom as a bedroom if it doesn't have a window or a closet. They might have changed things recently, but definitely if it don't have a window, it's not a bedroom. So, and they didn't even have it listed as like a one in a study. They just had it listed as a one bedroom. So we went in there, and shock and awe, there's 2 rooms in there and 1 bathroom, 1.5 bathroom, which could work because it was her and her son that were needing a space. Her son ended up into the equation later on. It started off with just her, and then he rolled in needing to be able to live there too. So she definitely needed at least 2 spaces to have a bedroom that could be separate spaces. So we needed a minimum 2 bedrooms. So, all right. It's a nice little joint, you know, like it could use a few updates, but overall it looked pretty good.
And this floor, like I mean that can't be changed. I mean it can be, but it's gonna take time.
Yeah, changing tile is work. But you can cover it up with some rugs. Oh, this light doesn't come on automatically. No. And then that light came on automatically. All right. That was a pleasant little surprise. So fast forward, we ended up going under contract. Inspection, and then let me tell y'all what I worked out. So this place, I don't know if I could even still go find numbers on it because I would really want. I don't still have numbers on this because it no. But this property I think was selling for like 125,000, I think. I don't even remember. 126, 127. I think it was 127.9, something like that, which is way below what our price range is, right? And then you tack on the HOA fees, which I think was like $200 a month. It was giving her that comfortable spot that she wanted to be at for her mortgage, about $1,400, which was erring on the high side. I was able to negotiate that the seller contributed $5,000 to closing costs. $5,000 to closing costs, and they were also going to give money towards a home warranty. Where they do that at? Where do they do that at? They do that if you have me as your realtor. But y'all, like, what? $5,000 is a lot in closing costs. You know, on the FHA loan, the max that you can get a seller to contribute in closing costs is 6%. And, you know, you can always shoot for the stars, honey. You can shoot. So 127.5 times 6% would have been $7,650, and we're getting them to give us 5%. I don't know how to do the backwards math, so don't judge me. So I'm actually just really happy for that, and honestly, I had to really kind of just drill it into my client's head to be like, hey, like, this is really, really good, you know. And I just know she's just nervous, but it's really freaking good. $5,000 on a home that's 127.5. What? You can't even get people to get $5,000 on a $300,000 house. These people be out here penny pinching. And it's really it's not in a bad condition. Like, aesthetically, it might not be the first thing that you want to walk into and see, the tile floor, and those things can be changed. Those can be changed. Them not wanting to clean the home, I'll clean that house. You know, like, I will pay somebody to clean that house. Like, that can be my closing gift to you. Like, whatever, you know, like, these things, these things are not deal breakers, you know. So I'm just happy we got that over with. Well, not over with. How dare I say over with? But and so why were we asking for money for closing costs? Because this was another side issue outside of not being able to find a property for her with all of her specifications that she was looking for. She was now she was being a little, let's just say, combative with Princess the lender. When it came to me, talking to me, absolutely fine. Just not, I wouldn't say sweet as can be, but like very understanding, never rah, rah, rah. Because I don't think I give off the energy that you can rah, rah, rah with me. But just, you know, like, but literally, I mean, when I say I probably talked to this woman every single day for 3 months, after we finally got that final approval in like late June, I talked to her every single day, maybe minus 2 or 3 days up until the end. So that was months of me talking to this woman every single day, every question, every Alexia, because she also was not very computer savvy. So when it came to like signing documents online and filling them out and things like that, like I was having to do it or send it, you know, just like it was a lot. It was a lot. Okay, a lot. So when it came to Princess and the lending and the down payment assistance, they were having issues with that as well because she's wanting to keep her mortgage here, but when you use down payment assistance, it increases your interest rate, which means your mortgage is now going to go here, right? Down payment assistance, interest rate, and your mortgage goes up. At one point in time, and this is before we had locked in anything, because we need a contract to be able to lock things in and so on and so on. So at one point, Princess told her she could get this much, but now we're weeks later and they're not offering that anymore because down payment assistance, with the interest rates fluctuating like they were, down payment assistance was also fluctuating with how much they were willing to give. So when we were finally ready to lock in her rate and apply her down payment assistance, I think the most Princess could get her was like a 4% down payment assistance, which then in return was leaving her having to come out of pocket about almost $5,000, which if we go back, rewind to our initial buyer's consultation that I had with her, I told her bare minimum she would need to have, you know, $5,000 to $7,000 ish in cash to get through this deal. That's including what you need for your earnest money, option fee, appraisal fees, documentation that you may have to pay for HOAs and things like that. You have to have money to buy a house. You cannot buy a house without no money. You can't buy a house without having any money. Okay? So she's mad at Princess now for the numbers that she's now quoting her. Well, last week you told me this and this and this and this, and I was privy to it all. I saw every email thread. Princess letting her know if we wait longer, if we do this, you know, this down payment assistance is no. So she's breaking it down and she's explaining it to her, you know, and sometimes Princess would have these calls with her by herself. And then the client would then piggyback and call me and say, well, she said this and she said this and da 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 da. And so then I would have to call Princess. You know, it was just a lot of back and freaking forth because she's just going against the grain and trying to act like nobody is on her side and nobody was on her team and we're just all whatever. And I told y'all I didn't want to spend this much money and y'all need to give me this and y'all need to do attitude. Okay. Not towards me, but towards the lender. So that is why, y'all, my stories will be all over the place. That is why I negotiated getting $5,000 towards closing costs from the seller because we really needed that extra cushion, right? And so initially he was like, okay, the seller / the listing agent was like, okay, if we give you the $5,000, we're not really going to want to, do any repairs because they had already done repairs on the property because it had already been under contract one time, got an inspection report back, and they pretty much fixed everything that was on that inspection report. We inspected it, and the inspection report really kind of came back pretty clear. The only thing that was needed, the water heater was really old, and then something with some outside needed to be replaced. So we came back and we asked them for that. They gave a little bit of pushback, but they ended up doing it. They did it. So you're still getting $5,000. You're getting money towards your home warranty, which actually they only gave a limited amount. I think they gave like $250 towards a home warranty, and I was gonna give her an additional $250. That was my gift to her, was gonna be an additional $250 for her to purchase her home warranty. So we're going through the process. Everything's going pretty smooth. We're going up to visit that place like every week because she's all excited and she wants to paint. She wants to do this. And I'm just feeling like relieved, y'all. Like, oh, yes, we were scheduled to close the end of September, right? We getting there. We doing our final walkthrough. Remember, y'all, I'm talking to this woman every single day. Every single day. So we get to the point where the appraisal finally comes back. For whatever reason, this appraisal was delayed, and it was delayed like crazy. Good morning, vlog. It's Thursday, September 29th, 10:30. We still do not have, a clear to close. More importantly, we still don't have the appraisal back. The appraisal that was due on the 20th. Today's the 29th. We still do not have back. My frustration about this is just like beyond. But I'm learning how to control my emotions. But every single day it was, oh, we need this, we need this, we need this. And I don't want to sound insensitive. But now somebody has unexpectedly died in the appraiser's family, and now we don't know when we're going to get this report. So yesterday and the day before, they've been saying, oh, tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. Today is like the fourth tomorrow, and we're supposed to close tomorrow. I wouldn't feel so much pressure about this if current living situation wasn't so tight, but she literally has to be out of her apartment on Monday. Today's Thursday. And y'all, how appraisals work is the lender basically puts out a bid for an appraiser company grabs it, and they'll do the appraisal, right? That's basically how it works. But we don't necessarily, we as on the buyer side, do not have direct contact with the appraiser because, no fraternizing. We don't need to be talking sweet in their ears for them to be appraising the house at whatever value we want. And same with the lender. They don't really have that type of communication with them either. So we don't, myself as the buyer's agent, I do not have direct contact with the appraiser. The lender, the most that they really have is like talking to, at least with this specific appraisal company that they ended up using, was just talking via customer service. So the house went to get appraised, and then that specific appraiser supposedly, that specific appraiser had a family emergency. Somebody unfortunately passed away. So then that delayed him getting our appraisal report back. So now we're like, everything else is going pretty smoothly, but we're waiting for the appraisal to come back so we know if the house meets value and we can move forward with this loan. The appraisal came back maybe about 7 to 10 days later than what they were initially told. So here we are, just twiddling our thumbs, waiting for that to happen, y'all. So appraisal finally comes back, and this is like the day or two a day before we were scheduled to close. And now we're really on crunch time because I wrote this contract with just enough days to be able to close for her to move out of her apartment and move into the new place because her lease is ending. So the appraisal finally comes back, and this is like a day before we're supposed to be closing. And these people wanted the burglar bars removed off the house. Good morning. My level of annoyance just went through the window. It is October 4th, and we are supposed to be closing today or tomorrow. Really, we were supposed to close on Friday. It's Tuesday. When I spoke with the lender, when we finally got the appraisal in last week, Thursday or Friday, whatever day, Thursday, she said the appraisal came back net value and there were no repairs or anything that needed to be done. Now, today, I literally just got an email a minute ago that says, "Good morning, Alexia. So after the underwriter reviewed the appraisal update with the appraiser commenting on the window bars and stating there is no quick release, the underwriter stated that this is a safety hazard for FHA and that the bars will need to be removed and a final inspection will need to be done. Please advise once the bars have been removed so we can have the final inspection ordered ASAP. See below for the underwriter for reference." I'm about to lose my because sorry y'all, you know I don't usually curse on here, because Erica has to be out of her apartment tomorrow. So what can be done? Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
How are you?
I'm tired.
Yeah, me too. I just got the email from Juan about these bars needing to be removed.
Right. So, remember we just got the appraisal in and went in for, we're hoping we'll get it clear to close. Remember, it's the underwriter's first review of the appraisal. So she said there's no quick release. Oh, because I guess the appraiser took pictures of the stupid bars and didn't say anything. So then yesterday evening, the underwriter told Juan, "Can you make sure that the appraiser puts on there if there's a quick release or not?" So Juan, he was already off of work, but he hurried and went back and sent a message to the to the appraisal AMC and say, "Hey, we need to know this information." And I guess the person who was working they were still working. They sent the message to the appraiser, and we got the response, I guess, like in the middle of the night from the appraiser, and he sent back the report with the revised comment saying, "Oh, there's no quick release." I'm like, why the say that in the beginning, like in the report? Because then at that point we would have seen it and would have been like, "Oh, there's no quick release." Then the burglar bars become a hazard, because that means if the house were to catch on fire, they'd be trapped in the house. So now they're saying, if for some reason, if there truly isn't a quick release button, then they need to be removed.
Oh my God.
And that's on all FHA across board. Anytime we have burglar bars on a property, if they don't have a quick release, then you have to have them removed. Now, I'm begging to see if we can get it as a funding condition, but that means I need to get something done like ASAP today. Like somebody has to go out to get them removed.
Yeah. I just spoke with the listing agent, and he's like, if we do this, he's gonna want to require extra earnest money, and I'm like, nobody has time for that.
You're gonna have the same shit no matter who buys the house.
Because and then to be out of her apartment tomorrow. She has nowhere to go, like literally nowhere to go.
Oh my God. Yeah, and all of this is because I understand, the appraiser had, I don't know who died in his family, but I think it was an immediate family member, from what I'm being told, but he had a death in the family. But it's like, I get that, but I wish he would have had someone else take over,
Yeah.
or respond or send the shit sooner. And I get it, I feel bad.
I get it, but other people are dependent on.
Yeah, and it's like, well, damn, it delayed everything, and now we're like, is in a bad position. We're all in a bad position. And yesterday, the listing agent kept blowing up my phone. I'm like, we're waiting on the clear to close. And just don't forget, the person, we just got the appraisal, so I have to give them time to review it. And now that she did, she was like, well, he didn't mention anything about those burglar bars, which I feel like maybe he was in a rush because of everything that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know for sure there's not a release button on there?
I'm going to go up there right now. I don't even know what a release button looks like, but I'm going to go.
It should be like a button that kind of looks like on a window. When you like push it and it opens the window, there should be a button there, and then the bars will just fling open.
Okay.
Sometimes it's hidden, so maybe he just didn't see it. Maybe if for some reason we do, oh my God, then we will tell him, and we will just need a picture, and then issue the clear to close, and we could.
Yeah.
I'll probably close later today, but I need to know about that button.
Okay, I'm gonna go up there and pray to God that there's a button. Okay, and if we can work on this being a funding thing,
yeah, I'm waiting for her response.
Okay. Okay.
And I don't know how can they be removed with like a screwdriver or something?
I'm like about to go up there with my whole toolkit and just take them off because I like what?
Yeah.
He hates them, so just even having to tell her that the bars that you hate are gonna be like another whole. I just.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Okay, call me when you get over there.
I've been stressed like this before, right, y'all? This isn't the first time. This ain't the first time. But I've never had a client about to be homeless. Oh my God, y'all. Do y'all see my tear ducts watering up? Like, I just. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Oh, I did not want my client to be homeless. I did not want to call her to tell her this. Yeah, I just. So the listing agent, speaking of, he called me. He said that his seller's going to have her father come and remove the bars. And then right after that, Princess called and said that it'll just be a funding requirement. So we can still go ahead and close.
Yes.
Hey, Juan, I just spoke with Princess and we just got the clear to close. The bar removal will just be a funding requirement. So once we get the photos, they're going to send it to underwriting and then it should all be clear and then they'll release funding. But we got the clear to close literally right after I got off the phone with you.
Oh, fantastic. So we can close and then we just need to make sure before they release the funding that we send pictures that they're being removed. Is that it?
Yes, correct. I don't think this is the first. I've never cried real tears. Like, those are tears of like relief, y'all. Like, I was stressed. Like, that little 5 minutes of stress that just caused me. I was on the phone with mommy while they were both calling. It is 10:11 in the morning, and I feel like I deserve a drink after that little. Because what time did that email come through? What time did Juan, the other ones? At 9:45. So that was basically 35 minutes of a blunder of stuff. I can't. We have the clear to close. Oh, hallelujah, hallelujah, praise the Lord. Thank you, God, right? Everything's good. Call my client. We finally got the clear to close, sis. We closing on this property tomorrow. I think it was, I really don't remember, but we're going to go close tomorrow. Just in the nick of time for you to be, like, we're closing. Closing was on my daddy's birthday, October 5th. This is the last day that she had to be in her apartment. Had to go. So we go to closing at like 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. The next day, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. And I got my gift, and I didn't really go overboard because y'all seen in some videos before that I do these really nice gift baskets with a good amount of money worth of goodies and things in them. But because I was gifting her $250 towards her home warranty, I didn't really go above and beyond. You know, I came with a bottle of wine, a few small little knickknacks. And it's closing day. She's happy. Her son is there. I'm happy. Princess done sent a gift. You know, everybody's happy. The listing agent is happy. We are all just overjoyed.
Okay, and this is letting you know it's called a cut writer, which is letting you know that it is in the homeowners association.
Good morning, y'all. It is 10:32. We have signed all the closing documents. Finally, this one was a long time coming. Anyways, we signed the closing documents, but we are not funded yet. So remember yesterday, the whole burglar bar situation. So we sent the photos in, but the underwriter won't accept the photos. So the appraiser has to go back out today to inspect to make sure that they really have been removed before underwriting will release the funds. So, I mean, we've closed, but we have not funded. And funding is what you really, really need for the deal to be done. So, right now, I actually have the keys to the property. The listing agent is through that door with his seller. They're signing right now. He just gave me the keys. But if the appraiser goes back to the property and for whatever reason wants to go in, there's no keys. So now I'm waiting for the lender to get in contact with them to find out if he's gonna want to go in. Which he really, I mean, if you're really just checking to make sure those bars are gone, all you gotta do is look at the front window, they're gone. Look at the back windows from the patio, they're gone. He really should not need to access the house, but you just never know. So that's what I'm on standby for now. So I'm hoping we can fund by today. Since they're not, them people in there are not giving us permission to access the house, I can't hand over the keys until we have actually funded. So fingers crossed. This is why I wanted to close early. This is always, always, always the reason why I prefer to close early, because it's always something, you know. Sometimes funding can take a little longer, but I'm in good spirits today. Today is my father's heavenly birthday, 74 he would have been today. So I'm not letting nothing get to me today. It is what it is. So sitting there signing her documents, you know, like the whole nine, y'all. Going just, it's good. We closing on the house. So I have the keys to the property. After we're done closing and signing, take the congratulation pictures of the sold sign, sold, you know, like the everything, y'all. We did everything. We closed on this house. He's like, okay, when do you think I can get the keys to move in? Because the movers are on their way to my apartment now to start packing up everything, you know. I'm like, you know, funding usually doesn't take too long. Like, literally maybe 30 minutes later, Princess had told me right when we were leaving, oh, we just got the funding approval, so we'll be able to fund soon. You know, and that usually takes maybe about an hour or two. Not long, but we got the approval, so we'll be funding soon. And once we actually fund, once the money is actually sent to the parties, then you can get your keys. So I won't lie. Every now and then, if I have access to the keys, it's different with new construction. But if this is a resale home and I actually have access to the keys, depending on my realtor intuition, I may give you the key to the property before funding happens if it's not feasible for me to come back to you in the day, or if it's far, or just whatever, you know, reasons. I've done that before. You're not really supposed to do it. Or most times I say to my client, I'm gonna give you this key, but please do not enter this home until I say we have funded and you may now enter the home, right? So, but This is it, y'all. As I'm standing there in the parking lot, and have y'all ever had like an outer body experience? I'm having an outer body experience because she's looking at me like, when do I get the keys? And I'm thinking to myself, I have these keys. I could give her these keys. It was telling me, no, do not give her these keys. Just wait until you fund. Do not give her these keys. Just wait until you fund, Alexia. You're going to have to drive another 45 minutes back over there, but just wait until you fund. So I said, as soon as we fund, I will meet you at the property with your keys. She's okay, great. I'm laughing, y'all, because this stuff is still unbelievable. Wait till y'all hear what I'm about to say. Maybe, I don't even want to say it. I'm glad I can laugh at it now because it was not funny then. Maybe about 20-25 minutes after I leave closing, me and my buyer went our separate ways, and I'm like, hey, I'll meet you later. Princess calls, and I'm thinking, I'll just tell you how the phone call went. Princess is calling. I'm like, ooh, we done funded. She's calling to tell me that we funded. I answer the phone. Hey, Princess. Did blankety blank quit her job? I said, huh? She said, did blankety blank quit her job? And I said, no. No, I just asked her I had just asked her while we were standing outside of that title company after she's signed all of her documents. I said to blankety blank, were you able to take off work, or do you have to go to work today, or, whatever? She was like, no, I think it was like a Tuesday or Wednesday or something. What was October 5th? But basically, she was like, no, I was able to take off the rest of the week so I could have time to, move and transition, because she works from home and she would need to, it was a Wednesday. So she was like, I was able to take off today through Friday so I can, have time to get everything settled and get back into work mode at the new place. I'm like, oh, that's great. Good. Boom. Fast forward to Princess calling. I said, no. She just told me she took off work for the next couple of days so she could be whatever. She said, well, funding called to do their final VOE and she's not employed. Y'all, if I didn't almost crash my car. I said, what? I said, are you sure? She was like, yes. Like, we just did the verification of employment. We called, there's a hotline basically that you call, and it's one big old verification of employment company that works with multiple companies nationwide, maybe even worldwide, that can do verification of employments on the spot, right? She was like, they said she hasn't worked there. It was in like 2 weeks. I said, I know you. Me and Princess started cursing. Long story short, me and Princess started cursing. Because you got to be kidding me. You have to be kidding me. So I said, Princess, this is not getting us nowhere. Let me call blankety blank. I calls blankety blank. She answered, hey, is it time? Can I get my keys? I said, no, it's completely opposite. Y'all, I lost all professionalism for the most part. Like, I had I had no beat around the bush. I had no soothe it, no make it. I didn't have no pretty packaging of it. I had nothing. But blankety blank, did you quit your job? That was it. That's all I had. Hey, is it time? I said, no, it's completely opposite. She goes, huh? I said, did you quit your job? If we would have been in person, my face would have been screwed up and she probably would have been scared. Because did you quit your job? Like, did you quit your job? She goes, what? No, I didn't. No. And I said, well, your lender just did their final verification of employment and it has come back that you were no longer employed. She goes, y'all, and this took me out. She goes, let me call him and see what's going on now. And she hangs up the phone. And I'm like, for a split second, for a hot moment, I'm thinking maybe there's confusion. Maybe there's another blankety blank at that company and they looked at the wrong person. Like, I don't know. So y'all remember this is my daddy's birthday. So now I'm on the way to where my father's, has nothing to do with, well, it does, but where my father's remains are is right, basically like 5 minutes away from my office. So I'm like, let me go visit my daddy for his birthday. As I'm pulling up to visit my daddy, probably about 10 minutes or so later, after I got off the phone with Blankety Blanket, she's like, let me see what's going on. I'm thinking she's calling her employer to call them and work out whatever the discrepancy is because sis is still employed. Like, she still got her job. Like, you know, I talk to you every day. You would have told me if you lost your job. She would have told me if she lost her job, right? Y'all think she would have told me? Princess calls. It's not blankety blank. Princess calls the lender. Going off. And I'm like, basically, she said, can you believe she just called me, cursing me out, wanting to know why we did another verification of employment and why we didn't do that before and how, and where she gonna live and what she gonna do and da-da-da. I said, so hold on, wait. She's not employed? She don't have her job? She's like, no, she got fired 2 weeks ago. And da-da-da. I said, fired? Fired 2 weeks ago. I said, Princess, you're not telling me the truth. I was like, this isn't for real. She was like, Alexia, I called again. She does not work there. She verbally just told me that she was let go. Well, she had told her like a week and a half ago. But the verification of employment came back. Her final employment date was like 2 weeks ago. Y'all, my frustrations, I don't even have words right now, honestly. Did he just try to call me back? Thank you. Got fired from her job last week and chose not to disclose or tell anybody. Not me, not the lender. Yeah, I'm pissed off. I am pissed at just the disrespect and the disregard of all the work everybody has done to get her to the closing table, sign your. We've jumped through so many hoops and loops for this woman, and she just lied to my face. You know, you like, I don't. At this, I don't even care. I don't care. So I told y'all we were waiting for the funding. Princess calls, thinking she's gonna tell me, hey, we're funded, we're good to go. And she is on the phone, basically screaming. She's not saying very nice words. How do we know? Because the lender, the mortgage company is going to verify your employment throughout the process. So before they send any money, right? Literally, we've signed the papers. The last thing they have to do is fund. What's the last thing they do? They do a employment verification to make sure before they release any money that you're still employed. She's not still employed. I know what I signed up for with this job. I know people do people things, and I can take the loss on working for 4 months with a client and not getting anywhere. I can handle that. But I hate disrespect. And like, this is disrespect on all levels. You have wasted so many people's time. So I'm in the weirdest location. I was telling y'all today my daddy's birthday, so I came to visit my daddy, and I was literally pulling up here as I got that phone call. So I think just all of the emotions just made me cry. That's the update, y'all. She committed fraud. My client committed fraud. That's gonna be the title of this video. My client committed fraud. Story time, okay? You did all of that. You have called me every day for every reason under the sun. But the day that you lose your job, you choose not to tell me? And let me tell y'all something. It wasn't about the fact that the deal is now broken and it's not going through. Nobody's getting paid, but it wasn't even about the money, because this was literally going to be the smallest deal I had ever done in my real estate career. So I was probably making less than $3,000 on this. Less than $3,000 on this transaction, which $3,000 is a substantial amount of money. It'll pay about $1.5 billion around here. But $3,000, y'all, gone. But the bigger thing is my time and energy and effort and the emotion and just everything that I had put into this client from the moment that we had spoke on the phone until today, October 5th, 2022. A waste of time and energy. I felt so betrayed. I felt so hurt. I was broken. Like, I was broken. One, I have never had a deal bust before that. Never had a deal bust before that. So that was a bit of a slap in the face. And then the thing is, with deals busting, deals normally bust before you actually get to the closing table, sign all the documents, feel like you have completed. I did my job to the very end. I did everything I had to do. But normally deals bust before you ever get to this point. This is why this one is like crazy, because we signed the documents for you to own this house. This I didn't sign up for. You lied to me. And on a personal level, I can't stand a liar. I can't stand a liar. I do not deal with liars. So you done lied to me. You lied to me. One, you lied to me. Two, if you would have just told me the truth, we probably wouldn't have been able to find you a home because you lost your job. But I could have at least tried to get you into a rental. I could have done something to, one, make a little bit of money, and two, for you not to be homeless. But you chose to be deceitful. Okay, I'm back. I went to the grocery store, did all kind of things. But like I was saying, let me go ahead and end this out, which this story time is like literally an hour. But every time I would speak to her, I would have pleasantries, ask her how her day was, how was work, blah, blah. Every single time. Not one of those times that she mentioned that, oh, well, I lost my job today. Nothing. So that was that, y'all. Process over. She never called me back until maybe like a week later. Never called at that same day to say I'm sorry. Did not hear from her until almost a whole week later, y'all. Did not hear from her till almost a whole week later, y'all. Like a week. And I think I reached out to her actually. Yeah. I think I did because I had to get out my feelings. Like 10 toes down on rightfully, I was mad. I was mad and I felt like I had the right to be mad. And as my mama has been teaching me since, I was probably in that womb, if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. And I wholeheartedly believe that. Like, I do, if ain't nothing good gonna come off this tongue, I don't need to speak to you. And just in that moment, that week, I was still brewing, y'all. I put it on Facebook, I put it on Instagram. I was hot, okay? Clearly not as detailed as I'm giving y'all, but I was hot, and I was hot for a whole week because I felt used and abused. Honestly, I really felt used and abused. So I believe that I reached out to her about a week or so later, just, how did you land? Did you find somewhere to go, or just, and honestly just give her an opportunity to acknowledge and apologize, which she did. As soon as she answered, she's like, Alexa, I've been meaning to call you, but I've been having to figure out, what I was doing and where I was going. She ended up, her daughter lives here, and her and her son had to move in with her daughter in her 1-bedroom apartment and all the things. I'll be super honest, y'all. I didn't offer to assist in any type of way because one, there's no assistance that I have, and two, I'm really still exhausted of just the whole situation at that time. But she apologized, and she explained to me what had happened with the job and how she genuinely did not think that far into the end of the buying process it would make a difference. She thought that all the job verification stuff was done, and that she was actually pursuing a lawsuit against the company she worked for wrongful termination, and just all these details that she was given. And I'm just still thinking to myself, like, why you didn't give me these details when it first happened? Like, why every day that we talked, you didn't say, Alexia, what happens if I lose my job? Like, why you didn't do that? So I didn't even tell y'all when at the key, right? So after I left the funeral home talking to Daddy, I called the listing agent. And I think this was the hardest part for me because it was embarrassing, and it takes a lot to embarrass me. But it was really embarrassing to have to make that phone call because I can't stress enough to you all how extreme this is. A deal busting after you have signed your documents. Like, what? Like, I'm sure it's happened, but it's basically unheard of. Like, that type of stuff is wild. So I called him, and I can't remember if he already knew or if I told him. But I just said it. Can't even remember what the man's name is now. But I was just like, hey, unfortunately, we can't get the funding. Blase, lost her job a couple weeks ago. They did the final verification of employment, and she doesn't have a job, so they're not going to give her the loan. And of course, I'm sure I didn't even have to explain in that much detail to him, but I did. And he was, I expect people to be kind and gracious and understanding, but people are people, and they're not always that way. So he was gracious. He was just like, I understand. I'm so sorry. Let me call my seller. I'll let her know. You can just come to my office, bring me the key. And that's exactly what I did. And I walked in, and he was just like, man, I'm so sorry. Like he almost like apologized to me, like, I'm sorry you went through that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no, I'm sorry to you and your seller. Like, we've wasted basically almost a month of time, of having your house on the market and all these things. And she was just deceitful. And he's like, I explained to my seller that it's not your fault, and it's the client's fault, and da, da, da. So that happened, and I was just so thankful to him for just not being a butthead about it, because trust me, there's realtors out here that could really be a butthead about things. And honestly, this whole situation could have been taken to another level, because like I said, she committed fraud. She committed fraud when she signed those paperwork saying, yes, my application information is still accurate. Yes, I'm still employed. Like, you sign documents that say that stuff when you were buying a home. And she happily signed it knowing that that was not the case. Knowing that that was not the case. So that happened, y'all. And then to top it off, y'all, Princess called me a few days after the fact and said that her loan processor got terminated because of that transaction. And that broke my heart, because like, I can't lose my job, right? Like, I'm self-employed, I take a loss, but I'm not losing my job. Princess owns her branch of her mortgage company, but she's still under the umbrella of the main mortgage company. And so they run their own audits, they run all these things. And now that this transaction did not fund, and it's because of verification of employment, they're looking to see who made the error. Like, how did it even get to this point that she literally almost got keys in her hand? And so basically her loan processor, a loan processor is the one that basically does all the paperwork, all the little paperwork for their actual loan officer / originator, right? And this gentleman, his name is Juan, and unfortunately he lost his job because of it. And so from what Princess told me, is that the way that they do the job verification is either they can, one, call in and verbally get the verification from whoever verifies employment, or they can fax in a document and they'll fill it out, sign it, and fax it back. From what I was told, Juan got a verbal one and he wrote it out himself. And he says the person on the phone told him that she was still employed the last time he had called, right? Which was a date after they state that she was actually terminated. So because of that, it made it look like he was in cahoots with her to commit fraud, is the best way that I can explain that as to why that man lost his job, which is just super unfortunate, because if she would have just been honest, none of that would have happened. And he was not in cahoots with her, because he didn't know her. He never met this woman. He only knew her because it was a client that I brought to them. So he wasn't benefiting from her getting this house in any type of way. The only benefit he would have been getting is a paycheck off of the loan closing, but the loan did not close. So he lost his job and also didn't get paid from this, So nobody got paid, y'all. Nobody got paid. I didn't get paid. Loan officers didn't get paid. Their people didn't get paid. Title company don't get paid. Seller don't get paid. Listing agent don't get paid. Nobody gets paid. The only people that gets paid are inspectors and appraisers, because they get paid for the actual work that they do. You pay them their fee. But any commission-based person, they don't get nothing. So, yeah, y'all. I'm sure I'm leaving out parts of this story. If y'all have any questions, just put them down there and I'll try to, answer everything that may seem confusing or whatever. But that pretty much all happened October 5th. And then I left for flight attendant training like 3 weeks later. And I felt like I just needed that mental break. Like, it all just kind of lined up perfectly, because I was over it. And then I won't go into details about this one, but a few weeks later, I had another contract bust. due to a client losing a job as well. So I was just really in my feelings about real estate the last quarter of the year. I mean, I did have 2 other really nice closings that went very smoothly and perfectly, but you know, it's like it's a stab to the ego when you, over so many years of a career, you have just been doing the damn thing, and then bam. It's like, girl, let me sit you down real quick and show you what life is about. So I just, it's taken me a minute to kind of get out of my funk from that, because I was just like, yo, this is crazy. Yeah, I don't know. It took a toll on me. I don't know how else to explain it, but it really did take a toll on me. But it's a new year, y'all. I'm leaving. I should have done this story time in 2022, so I didn't have to bring it to 2023, but I'm leaving all of that there. It's a new year. We're moving forward. I am still Lex in the City, still in all of Houston, and we're also Lex in the Skies now, back being a flight attendant, balancing both worlds, and just making the best of it, okay? So, as always, if you know anybody in the Houston area that is looking to buy, sell, or lease, send them my way. Thank y'all for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed this story time. Until next time, bye.